Hello and welcome to the Aaron Roussos podcast. Today's episode is purely about what you would call a UFO, unidentified flying object. Now I've put lots of pieces and parts throughout my podcasting journey about what you would also class as an alien, and they would be the ones that fly these UFOs, right? And what sort of sparked this off is I haven't really listened to many other podcasts out there, so I thought I'd have a bit of a listen. And on some subjects that I already know quite a bit about. And there was one that came up about, there's three that came up about UFOs, and so these ones have guests and stuff. I haven't had any guests yet on my podcast, but I've had lots of emails about people that would like to be guests. And it's definitely something where I want to go and something I want to do moving forward. And, these other UFO podcasters were saying that, they've got lots of things that I haven't got. They've got members and Patreon and all this other stuff. I had to listen to at least 10 minutes worth of ads and self-promotion and links and buy this on Amazon and do that first, which I don't do. I don't know if I should be doing that to sound more commercial, or there's a lot of crud I had to listen to before I got to the actual podcast. Sorry, it's not crowd, it's just noise to me, because I obviously didn't want to be a part of that. So, and who knows, you might be able to fast forward it. So, and then if anyone's got any ideas of guests that might be able to bring some light on this subject that other, members were saying, on different platforms and YouTube and stuff, and just bringing it all together, and anyone could ask questions, and he said, but I will vet and make sure that the guests are right. My whole podcast is about life itself, and everything that we are, and the system we're part of, and everything. So I don't have to vet or make sure any guest is right for this program, because anyone qualifies. I'm not trying to control any form of narrative. I'm just being totally transparent, open, and even robust conversations that question me. I open. I will accept with open arms. And obviously, I can't do that to other people. People, that I would like to prove wrong. I don't have the opportunity, because there is a narrative and there is a closed source, which is quite sad in this world, but we know where we are because of everything that's gone on. It's just the way it is. So getting back to these little UFOs and stuff, so I've said many a time, this galaxy that we're part of is teeming with life. And I've even mentioned lots of UFOs and explained maybe at least a half a dozen times in the podcast, and at least half a dozen times in the books, what they are, who they are, and what they're doing. So to then find a whole new podcast genre or movement about UFOs that include things like remote viewing, which is really interesting. And I guess we need to ask some questions around remote viewing, because one of the biggest people that actually say they remote view has not given one piece of solid, groundable evidence or proof. Now, if you're going to remote view something, you can't be found out. How would you know what's going on that spaceship up there? You know what I mean? unless you are being giving something that you can test, you can verify, and you can prove, then there's probably no point even listening to that. What would be the point of listening to it if you can't prove it? We've already got to a world which is out of control with so much false and misleading information that's so confusing and fragmenting our own very reality that and with our whole history and everything we learned, we've got no proof of that either. But we've gone along and we've listened to it, and then we've wondered why we're at the junction or the place where we are. And so, you know, the UFOs, I mean, that was a thing when I was a kid, right? It was a movie. It was all about the movies and UFOs and spaceships and science fiction and things like that. And that's been going on since movies have been around, you know, that topic and that thing. You know? So we've got, on Earth, we've got a whole existence with UFOs in it through movies. Movies aren't real. I don't know if you know that. The other information that we could have about different entities and beings and aliens and such comes from our Akashic record, which is a record of all our past lives and things. But it's only going to be revealed to you in this lifetime if it makes you, it provides something that helps you spiritually grow in this lifetime. So we do have a lot of, you know, what energy workers would call in that area residue from different types of life. We have consciousness, which is energy, which can move things, which is, you know, our soul part. These things are stored in your sort of DNA, I guess, if you like, and they are governed by the innate, which is what you muscle test when you go to a kinesiologist. These are facts. This is not a UFO channel. So a UFO is actually mainly family members coming to check on us to see if we're ready. We're like a cake. We're baking in the oven. And I've said it once, and I'm going to have to say it again and again, but this one's just about the topic that you, through fear and unbalanced consciousness and residue, are more interested in because you live in a world of doom and gloom, and that's what you're about. And so these things you call UFOs are your family. And one of them came here 100,000 years ago and gave you a piece of integrated and seeded us, they call it, seeded us with their DNA, and gave us the spark of life from the Creator, light. They stayed here for about 1,000 years to integrate it and make sure that it worked, and while they were here gave us obviously bits and pieces of technologies or ways to survive, make crops and follow the seasons and things like that, you know, there may be some remnants of that in ancient times that we can't explain. And so why they come here is we are very barbaric at the moment. We kill each other and stuff, right? We're in our infancy as far as the planet goes and the development of us human beings. So they come here to see if it's safe to land. They want to reconnect with their family. There's no time where they are, so that was made by us here on the earth, or man, or whatever you want to call it. People is probably a better, more suitable word. And so you know, all the UFOs that come here now, the people that came and that seeded us, they also, a million years before that, approximately, they graduated and someone came and seeded them. And then those people that seeded them, a million years before that, another group came and seeded them. And they're called a star family. The names of them are all out there, and it's pretty widely known, but obviously filtered through some form of censorship, because we wouldn't want to know that there was an amazing family out there that is going to come and reconnect with us one day. So I won't get into the names. You can go on your own little discovery tour. So we don't have groups. We don't have star family groups and bits and pieces. They're all our family. Just one's a parent, one's a grandparent, one's a great-grandparent, one's a great-great-great-grandparent. And so they often come here, and we often see them, and we call them UFOs, unidentified flying objects. But what's the most disturbing thing is that on all of these shows is featuring of some person that thinks they can remote view into those spaceships, going, oh, they're going to, looking at us, thinking they can harvest our things, and I'm just like, wow, this is sensationalized, dark energy, dark, unbalanced consciousness. This is pretty fucked up, actually. And no, it's not fucked up. It's, who knows? People are probably, that's all we knew at that time or whatever. But we're getting on, and I think there's a lot more information out there now. And so this is what UFOs are. But I guess at the moment there's a lot of people, like even the last two that I was listening to, have many paid members, and so there's money involved. And I'm not saying that they know any better themselves. They're just investigating what UFOs are and sharing, I guess, their collective information with you for money. And the thing I have, the thing that I don't like anyone taking advantage of my fellow human beings, but more so, I don't understand why you as human beings would listen to something like remote viewing. Now, I've only recently sort of seen a bit of a phenomenon around remote viewing. So this is where, so when you're saying they're tapping in and remote viewing on the 3i Atlas comet, or onto these spaceships, or into really famous people's lives like Elon Musk, and that's what they're saying. But there is nothing that has ever been testable, or something that proves that they're actually doing what they're saying. Nothing. Like, not a time, a date, something that's going to happen. You know what I mean? They don't remote view Elon and go, oh, he's going to come out with a new car next Tuesday and he didn't want to say anything. There's nothing that you can actually prove with these people. And I've mentioned many times before, there's so many people that are selling hope. There's even humanitarian organisations that have got hundreds of thousands of members that are taking huge amounts of money, that are selling hope, and they're also telling a story and saying this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And just like the cure for many, like for cancer, that we've all been promised or given articles for about every week of our life, to promise for something that's never going to come, they also don't deliver on anything that's going to come. And I'm not talking about being involved for months. I've been involved with some of these organisations for years, and I've basically just recently come to more of an understanding that both sides are wrong, both sides are negative, both sides are and just the people on the good side are ones that can be manipulated. They think they're doing the right thing. They think, I've done another podcast about this, they think they're following Trump because he's sending, secret messages and he's going to do this and do that. And I met people that before were part of cults and part of Jehovah's Witness and part of all these places and organisations that take advantage of vulnerable people, and they're out recruiting them on the street, just waiting for that vulnerable person to walk past. That's what it's about. And they've never there's no proof whatsoever that that's what's going on. And when I run into them at a certain stage, because I'm what they call the illuminator, and I illuminate, I am light. So I said in a previous podcast, I saw one at the bank, and he said, I've been waiting 10 years for this. People have been waiting a lot longer than that for all these things, and they've never eventuated. And that's on the good side. Do you understand? You've all been taken for a ride. That's on the good side. So UFOs, this guy probably doesn't. The last guy I was listening to probably doesn't have a bad bone in his body. He gets guests on. They're the remote viewers. They're the ones that are lying. But you're all buying it. So I guess, what do you do? So that's what UFOs are, just in case you're interested. They're your family. And one day when it's safe to land here, and it's not when you feel safe, or when you grow up and decide you're not going to kill anyone anymore, it's when the collective here on Earth, they can see they have quantum sight, which we don't have, which we will one day maybe have instruments that could see this quantumness. But they have quantum sight. They come here. That's why the UFOs, because they're sitting out there looking at the Earth, and they're looking through their quantum eyes, and they are looking at patterning on the Earth. They see the Earth as a big pattern, and when we're grown up and it's safe to land, they'll land. But at the moment, they're out there. The UFO is not safe to land. They think we're barbaric, and I agree with them. So that was the short podcast on UFO. If there's any questions you want to know about UFOs, it sounds wrong. If there's any questions you want to know about our star family, if there's any questions you want to know, please leave it in the comments. I don't have any subscription service. I don't have any anything else besides my website, and definitely don't have 15 minutes worth of self-promotion and ads and all the different links before I even get on a podcast. It must be so refreshing for people that do like my podcast, just to get on and get straight into it, get the message and get out. That's what it's always been about, is providing truth, so you're not taken advantage of, but that you know that we're always heading towards something better and the truth. So today, UFOs, bring it on.